it's possible we'll see more screen game stuff from the Ravens this year. I think it's certainly probable that we'll see more in terms of the Ravens becoming a passing team. Certainly going to be run first, but a little bit more in the way of getting our wide receivers involved, I'm sure. It's interesting that we took two guys who ran a ton of screen work in college. This video, we look at screens. We talk about some of the blocking, particularly on the slow screens out of the backfield. We don't get into tunnel screens because, frankly, I couldn't find any by the Ravens. That's not saying they didn't run any, but I didn't find any. But we get into bubble screens, quick screens, and we just talk about them generally and try to show some examples, perhaps even just talk about some of the things that might be run off of them. We want to start off with this slow screen from the playoff run or the Super Bowl run in 2012, Flacco to Rice here. Rice takes this all the way down to the 2, and there's a lot of things we want to look at here as we study these screens. Got two receivers to this side. Torrey, the only receiver on the play side. The other thing we notice is the tight end releases backside here. The first thing we'll see off the ball is Joe looking to that side of the field, which is pretty usual. 98's going to sniff this play out. That's worth mentioning. He knows this play is designed over his head, and he sniffs this out. And I tell you that the telepathy that's on display here between Joe and Ray in this moment with the heat coming down on Joe, he senses Ray's going to cut this behind, and sort of a little duck throw here. Just wonderful connection between the two of them. Look at the offensive lineman releasing. Almost always you keep your two tackles in, and usually all three of your interior guys are going to release. In this case, Yanda's the first guy out, play side guard. He's going to clean up this flat defender. Burke, we can see this better from down on the field here. Burke gets out and gets this alley defender, or this sort of hook curl spot here, as it turns out. And Assembly is the backside guard, and his job is to get out here and clean up any trash, any backside pursuit, and cut that off. And Ray has a nice run downfield, but good blocking. The other thing is the trend of having wide receivers block did not start recently. You see Torrey just drive blocking this guy downfield. So a really nice screen to get the offense moving in this playoff game. The Ravens end up with one receiver, Miles Boykin, to the field here effectively with Chris Moore in this orbit motion. He's going to come over and run just a little swing or flare, and Lamar turns his shoulders completely to that side of the field. He's going to pump fake there. Watch Mark Ingram here square up right about dead center, right there. And then he's going to sneak out behind his line. Let's watch the play and let's talk about the line a little bit. There's that pump fake. Really effective job, of the Ravens here, selling this this swing or flare, especially with all this action here. You can see the mic really watching Lamar. He's completely taken him out of the play by that fake, as is this deep safety initially. From the standpoint of the line here, you'll notice that Skura's uncovered off the ball, gives a little bit of a pretense of help to this 3, shows his hat to the second level, but 2 seconds and he's out of there. So he gets out pretty clean, pretty early, and there's just a little bit of confusion here about blocking this defender. You can see from above there, play side guard goes for him, and Skura goes for him rather than getting upfield in the alley here. But they take each other out. Good block by Bozeman there. Good block. Does a good job getting this linebacker, this dime backer out of there. And a really nice, successful play. I think they get 12 yards on this. But, you know, if the center comes out, takes the alley defender, just runs upfield there instead of going to this flat, you know, you can see there's a lot of room here for the back to run, and he might be able to get a piece of this safety coming over. Also, watch Miles. Miles runs a vertical route here, runs that defender off. Then he's able to turn him, and he stays on top of him, drives and drives and drives him out of bounds. So you can see just that little miscommunication or moment of being unsure in terms of blocking assignment here. Again, the last guy out, the backside guard, in this case, Yanda, he's got to go clean up the junk. That's what he does. Right there. Nice block by Yanda. Let's watch it again. So orbit motion, flare, back squares up, good pump fake. Lamar barely gets that off. Very, very successful slip screen or slow screen. Another example of the slow screen or slip screen, you see Marquise in motion across here. I think the Ravens do a good job of getting a flood of receivers to this side, sometimes which end up being blockers. Sometimes they try to get receivers opposite or backside to the screen. In this case, these guys end up being blockers. Pretty interesting here. Notice where Ingram squares up. That's important. Also, Lamar looking to the backside of the play, kind of influencing this defender. Yeah, he squares up on the outside of Chris Jones there. You see, that's important. The other thing I want you to note, or want us to notice, which is unusual, is that they released 2 of the interior linemen, not 3. There's a good reason for that. It's called Chris Jones. Watch our man Marshall. Watch this war. It's a fight. This is a fight right here, and he cannot let this screen get blown up by Chris Jones. So you can tell the Ravens were thinking about that 3-tech right there. You know, even where they set Ingram as if he's going to help on that side. They do manage to get a third blocker out, though. You know, the third blocker in the form of Hayden Hurst. Hayden is the sideline block here, in effect, the first man out, if you will, taking the place of Marshall, the play side guard. And this is your trash collector back here, getting stuff backside. Still a very effective play. You want Marquise to come down here and run this route or this corner off or get on him and block him. That's his job. Good job by Andrews getting all the way downfield on this seam and getting this safety blocked up. But yeah, it's a very successful screen as well. I wanted to do a video on the screen game just because of the draft and the 2 receivers we picked up, how effective they were in school, running different sorts of screens. And I want to sort of sprinkle in bits and pieces of the Oklahoma screen game. This is a very interesting, very cool wrinkle here. I want us to notice that they keep these 4 in the block and they release the tackle. Very, very interesting. Outside, you'll see 3 verticals. So a lot of these routes running off coverage just gives them a little nudge. The back does enough to sell that he's probably staying in protection. You can see right here, this guy realizes in no man's land. But what I think is really cool is that they release only this tackle. So that really convinces the coverage downfield along with those verticals. And then you get this nice lead block out in front of him. So really just a cool little wrinkle thrown in by Oklahoma here in the screen game. We bring Marquise in motion, and we hit him with this right now or quick screen. Lamar, just a little bit of a read or a look as if he's reading. fires that ball out, does a good job getting that ball out of his hands and to Marquise quickly. And it may not look very successful, and I guess in terms of yardage it isn't, but this is a second down play, 2nd and 3, and we end up picking up the first down. If you commit to this enough, I think, or even at least a little more, if you commit to it a little more, you start little by little getting guys to come out of the box and have to honor that. You start hitting guys on little quick 2 and 3 yard at the line of scrimmage screens or whatever, that are just slightly uncovered, let's say, and you start seeing guys creep just a little further, these second level guys, out of the box just a little bit, and maybe they're susceptible to a run at that point. This looks to me like it would almost be better if Mark would have run this guy off. This down safety here does a great job. I mean, instantly breaking on this thing, and you'd almost be better off just leaving Marquise out there by his lonesome one-on-one with a little bit of room to make this guy miss. As it turns out, he gets upfield and he picks up a first down. So, I'm cool with that, picking up a first down this way, just making it a part of the offense a little bit more. And I think it augments, like I said, the running game ultimately as well. Here's another quick outside screen, this time to Mark. It's 3 by 1, and they're going to give him a chance to make a play here. Here he kind of runs downfield a few steps, turns around, shows his numbers to Lamar, and does a good job here just kind of piggybacking this guy an additional 3 yards. I mean, this is a 5-yard pickup, but there's something I want to point out about this that's really interesting. And we'll start talking about this screen in a minute, but this is a bubble screen to this other side. So you see sort of a double screen package in place here, which is really interesting. Bubble screen, just to point it out, I know everybody probably knows this, but it's usually the number 3, sometimes the number 2 if it's a 2-receiver set, to a side, running away from the ball. And receiving the pass. So that's what they're setting up here on this side. And here's what interests me about this. Okay, so you have a double screen, right? Either side. Watch what happens here when he starts to run this bubble. You see this safety trigger, man. You see this Mike trigger. These guys are downhill in a hurry. Now, watch what that does to this side of the field. Here's a pretty good example of what you can do off of these bubbles. We noticed on the last play how the safety was triggering, and Mike was triggering downhill. You see the same thing here. And Oklahoma's going to run this bubble. You can see the 2 outside receivers really go into sort of break down to sell that they're blocking too. So it's a really complete disguise package. Here's the bubble screen. Quarterback will look at it from the back side. Does a good job selling it. And then this guy ends up running a post. This guy ends up running a vertical route, but this post is wide open. This middle of the field is wide open. So if you get a guy triggering, or players triggering downhill after these bubbles. And I think the only way you pull that off is by consistently or at least moderately running screenplays, making it more a part of your game. You see the quarterback, there's time, turns his shoulders, his head completely to that bubble, bam, hits the post. Ravens are really trying hard to sell run up front here, and they throw a bubble screen to Marquise. Marquise is the number 2 receiver out wide.